Hello everybody, it's me, Plenty T, and today we're going to be doing hopefully a rather complete guide on the modding tools, specifically the building editor for Project Zomboid. So when you load it up, all you got to do is go to the tile Z, because that's where the building editor is. I'm going to get rid of that, we don't need that on the screen right there. You're going to go up here at the top bar to Tools, and then the first option is Building Editor. And then we'll go to a new building. We've got a size. We'll just do a random generic building right now. And I'm sort of going to go through my process of how I make a building. So initially, the best advice I can give is always come in with a sort of a plan. So you've got several things that you can do. You can actually find floor plans online. You can look at reference images. A good one that I use quite often is the online map for Project Zomboid that actually shows the buildings and you can see the layers. It's always good to reference what the devs are doing and how they do the building. But straight off at the bat, what I always do is I go over here to the edit rooms. I'm going to click this little plus button down at the bottom, and it's always going to set up with some generic stuff, and I just change all this to a blank white room. Usually because I don't ever really know what that room's going to be to begin with, so I usually want to get like sort of a nice and easy thing. So for today, I think I'm going to do a nice little farmhouse, just to keep it nice and easy, just to sort of show off an example. And we're going to find a little plain white floor right there, and that just sort of gives us a little bit of a generic room. Now you can add Grime here if you want to. And again, you'd be surprised, Grime adds a lot of definition, but the game also adds Grime on its own anyway over time, so sometimes it's not very needed unless you're doing a map that specifically needs Grime, but we're going to leave it on with some Grime for right now. So initially I'm going to want to get the sort of outlay of the house. So now that I've made a room, I can go over here and I can use the draw function, and then that'll actually let me do a room. And then you can sort of get some sort of basic outline for what you're doing. If you go back here, you've got another few interesting stuff. So you can delete the room, which you can remove selected room, or you can duplicate it. So again, if you want to section off your building, you can duplicate that, change the name a little bit, go over here, and then that'll sort of, and then you want to select it afterwards. And then that'll add a wall between these two rooms. So these are now two separate rooms. If you go to Ortho, you can see the two different colours. These are two different separate rooms, which will then allow you to change the internal room name for each. So we could have this as a living room as the internal room name, and this sort of as a kitchen, and the internal room name will set what loot is going to spawn in that room. But we're going to leave them like that for right now. So we've decided that's going to be the living room, that's going to be the kitchen. Awesome. So it's going to be a fairly small little thing. So we're going to want to set our external wall. So we're going to go up here to this little wall tool. We're going to go to our exterior wall, and then we're going to scroll down until we find a wall that looks nice for a little farmhouse. So these ones down here, these are little slatted ones. I've always liked those for farmhouses to give that sort of little farmhouse look. So we're going to go around the edges, and we're just going to select all that. And there you go. Now while you're in this wall tool, let's say you've slightly gone too far over here, you can actually grab the edge of that and drag it back down if it's too far, or you can just right click and it'll delete it. So you can right click that, it'll delete it. You can place it along. If you think it's too long, you can get to the edge and sort of drag that back as well. So then we're going to need a door. Where's the entrance going to be? So obviously this big wide front here, that's going to be our little door. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go to our door tool. We're going to select just a nice little white door. We're going to get a door frame, the little white one. That's fine. We're going to smack that, well, reasonably in the middle. It's a little bit over. So again, if we wanted to, we can go back here, select room 1. We can just extend that out, just one like that. Go back to our wall tool, grab the edge of that, and sort of bring that back over. There we go, nice and easy. So I am wanting to have a second floor on this main part. So all you have to do to set your floors is, you got this little floor option up here, you get that, +1, you've got now a plus floor. Now you don't want to go above 7 floors. 7 floors is realistically your max. That should be the very tippy top of your roof. You do not want to go above that. The game just will not understand it. So max you want is 8. So right there, we're going to go to our second floor. It'll automatically select that. We go back over here, and then boom, we place another floor down. We go over here, and we put our secondary roof on. Nice and simple, nice and easy. So now we've got a 2-floor building. So one thing that I always do at this point is, so when rain happens in the game, I don't want rain coming through here. So you've got this little tool here, which is your roofing tool. So I always go for a nice flat top, and I just plaster that on there. And I'm going to plus another floor for this one. And I'm going to plaster that one right on top of that. So whatever roof design I go with, that will just give it a nice little floor. And I'll show you how I do it, because I do my roofs in a very particular way, because I like my roofs to look a very particular way, and I'm very particular with my roofs in this editor. So right now we've got that right there is now a nice little sealed building. So well, it needs some windows. It's a bit plain. It needs some windows. So let's go to the window tool over here. We'll find a nice little generic window. We'll go with this nice little white one. We can stick into a white theme. Now we can select our curtains. So what curtains? So the curtains will always be on the inside of the house. So the curtains for downstairs, I'm going to have these nice little drobe ones, and shutters. The shutters I'm going to have on the downstairs part. I'm not going to have them upstairs because, again, how are you going to shut them from upstairs? Ain't going to work. So we're going to place just one of those on either side, just so you've got a bit of a view in. And then for the kitchen, well, we're going to have that and that. So there we go. We've got a few windows on there. You can see in and out of them now. And then we'll go upstairs. So we're going to remove the shutters for the upstairs one, because, again, you wouldn't be able to shut them normally. And we're going to do the same thing, because you want to have sort of that symmetric feel to it, because you want to keep it sort of all looking reasonably symmetrical. But you can add as many as you want, again, based on what design you're doing. And now we're going to want some stairs going upstairs. So we're going to go to stairs here, and you're going to want to select whichever one that you think best suits your house. So for right now, we're just going to go with this nice little light brown one. Now stairs only go 2 directions, so you've got to take that into account when you're making a building. It'll only go this way or that way. It will not go the reverse of that. It just will not work in the game. So for right now, we're just going to slap that there, and then when you go upstairs, it will automatically get rid of the 3 tiles, so it's not going to block you. Now you want to imagine this tile here, that is unusable. You can't put anything there because it will not actually function. So let's say that we put a door here. So we'll go to our little door tool, and we placed a door there. That door would not exist. If somebody walked up those stairs, if the door was closed, they would just walk right through it. So you always want to, if you're going to have a door, you always want at least that one gap between it. Even if it's there, or if it's going to be there, you just want it to have that one gap between there and the stairs. Because if you put it there, you're just going to walk right through it. It's one mistake that we made at Grapeseed. I'll probably overlay a little bit of video showing you. You just phase right through the door. It's just, it's not really. So you do, again, you want to imagine that tile. You can't put anything here. You can put it there. You can put it there. You can put it there, but you cannot put it there because it will not work. It'll work on the other way. Like you can walk this way and it won't work. But when you're walking up the stairs, it just won't function like that. So we're getting our internals done. Quite nicely here. So now we're wanting to set some bedrooms for the upstairs. So let's so we're just gonna plus another couple of these here. So we're gonna set that as room 3 and set that as room 4. And again, you can come in and name these afterwards. For right now, I'm just making them nice and easy. So again, bedroom right there. Bedrooms. So all these internal room names, I'm not going to link below. They are all linked on my Discord. Other videos show them as well. I'll be talking about a lot of stuff and referencing a lot of other things as well, and it would just absolutely flood the description of this video. So if you're really struggling to find them, you can always pop in on my Discord. We've got a building tools section. Just go on there. All the building tools, all the videos. This video as well will also be there, so you can always reference back to it. So we've set our bedrooms. We've got the internal room name as a bedroom, so the loot that spawns in there will be the bedrooms. So what I'm going to do actually, just to save time, is I'm going to duplicate, because it makes my life easier. Duplicate room 3 and room 4. So now we're going to select over here, and then we're going to drag that across. We want it in a little bit of a gap for the hallway, and we want these rooms to be reasonably the same size. So we're going to bring this one down a little bit. So one of the rooms is going to be a little bit bigger, but that's okay. That's alright. We don't need them to be exactly the same. That's fine. So we've got a room 4 by 5 and a room 5 by 5. That's fine. That's fine. So we've got the hallway here, and again, you can always pop in ortho and it will show you how your rooms are sort of laid out. Again, it's good for those little those precision builds, like when you're making sure that something lines up correctly. So now we're going to want to put a door in between here as well. So we're going to go over here. Now, I don't want this to actually have a door on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that as none, and I'm going to make sure a door frame is selected. And that's just going to add a little bit of a pathway. So again, you got the door frame there, no door, you don't have to open any door, you can just walk right through that, nice and easy. So we've got the basic layout of that done. So I could add a little separate room, but I think I'm going to leave those stairs there because I quite like it. Now let's say we want to place down some furniture. So initially you're going to want to select the furniture first. So let's say we're going to go for some seatings indoor. We're sticking to a white theme, so let's make some black couches for right now. So once I've selected that, now this chair tool that you see up here, place furniture, that's now available to me. So as you can see here, like it does that. If you go to a wall, it will actually snap to the wall, but if you hold control, it will go back to its original position, but it will try to snap if you let it. But if you hold control, it will always go back to its original position. So let's say I want a little bit of a chatting area over here. I want some people talking. There you go, nice little chatting area, something like that, nice and easy. That door's gonna walk through there. That's fine. Then we're gonna add some. Let's say we want some bookshelves. So we'll find some bookshelves. Let's see, bookshelves, shelving right there. So you got a few different kinds. And again, I've got a few extras because I do have a few tile packs. Now, again, I'm not going to explain how you sort of import the tile packs into your tiles. There are other videos that sort of explain how you do that, and most of the tile packs will explain in the description how you add them as well. But I will go through at some point in this video how to actually sort of add them to where you can use them in ISO, because they won't show up in ISO to begin with. So for right now, we're going to add these shelves. We're going to put one there, and I think we're going to put like some sort of low table between them. Sort of like that, because I think that looks quite nice. Now again, you don't have to worry, like right here, you see that it's not filled. That will auto-fill when it's generated in the game. Even some of the details, like the floors will sort of generate cracks, some of the walls generate cracks, like even these panels were slightly displaced and stuff like that is automatically done by the game. So a lot of the details can be just place it in, and the game will auto-generate some of those details for you, which is nice. It's good. It makes it a little bit easier. So what I've done now that I've decided that this is the color I'm working with, I'm going to change these stairs. So I've just right-clicked on that. So again, you can place, right-click, and it'll delete it for you. Now again, you can do that, and then you can go up here, you can select this tool, and then you can re-grab it, and then you can click del, and it'll delete it. But again, to make it nice and easy for yourself, you can go there. So we've selected the stair tools. We're going to go back here, and we're going to go for a brown stairs that sort of matches that color a little bit better. Because it's good to sort of have a theme that you're working with. So we're going to go upstairs, make sure that lines up nice and easy. There we go. So now we've got a little bit of a living room form, and again, we're not going for all fancy today. It's just showing you an example of, you know, how to place things down. So we're going to go back to our little furniture placing tool, and then we can go to, again, it's got all appliance cooking, so we can place down some stuff for cooking. I have a couple of these down. Refrigeration, we can place a couple of fridges down. Then we can have a little dining area as well, so we can go to tables. Let's see, tables high. We can place this down right there. We can get some chairs as well, so seating indoors. And again, you always want to try stick to sort of a theme, in my opinion. So right there, and as you can see, although that's facing that way, it'll snap to that wall nice and easy. It's good there. And we want some counters as well. We want some counters. So let's go find some counters. Let's see. So I like these ones. These ones look kind of nice. So we'll go with that there. We'll have some counters. Boom, nice and easy. So for right now that I've done this, all these rooms look a little generic. And I want to sort of change it up. I want this kitchen to look a little different. So what I can do, I can go back into this editing tool there. I could find the one that I've labeled kitchen. Again, you can change the normal name. This doesn't change anything. You can change that to kitchen. You can change it to Daft Punk, whatever you want. You can put whatever name you want there. Just something that can help you identify the room. But I've already put the internal name, so I know which one it is. And I can change any of these features now. So I can go to the floor. Again, in a kitchen, we want tiled flooring because it's easy to clean up. A nice little quick mop up. And let's do something with the walls. So again, you'll notice that the walls do have sort of exterior wood and stuff like that, which again is how the developers of Project Zomboid use those walls. But personally, if I think they look good in a certain area, I will use them anywhere. I'm not very restrictive in how I do it. So again, if I like that bathroom and I want that in my kitchen, I think that looks okay. So although it's a bathroom wall, I still think it looks okay in the kitchen. You might disagree. You might do it a little differently, but don't feel like you just have to restrict yourself to what the walls say. You can use them however you want, with whatever looks good to you. So that looks good to me now. Like, you know, we've got a nice little kitchen. So we're going to go to our bedrooms. We want our bedrooms to at least have beds in them, because, you know, where are people going to sleep in? So let's go to bedding, furniture. Now you've got a good selection. So right here, I'm going to show you how to fix this later on as well, because some of the tiles, when it got updated to the new tile pack, they're a little bit off, but I'm going to show you how to fix that later. But for right now, you can see all these beds, and again, I've got a few more beds than some people have because I've got the tile packs, but that's fine. So right here, so right now, where these beds are going to go, as you can see, it's not going to look right being there. Now you can grab here and extend out so you can see it properly. You can see this one's got a backing board the way that I'm going to want it to be facing. Now if I wanted it facing over here, that's fine, but I'm going to want it, with that window being there, we're going to place this one here, and we're going to place that one. Again, we want to change it up. We don't want them sort of being the exact same. So we're going to place that one there, sort of near each other. And again, we can add more details, like again we can go to the tables law, we can add little side tables, so little counter units and stuff like that. And again, let's see, so if we go to storage, this is where all the storage stuff's going to be. So if we want wardrobes in there, oh, placed that in the wrong place, right click, got rid of that. You can place wardrobes down. Again, I've got a few more stuff here that you probably won't have. And again, we've got these, so a little makeup thing as well. Again, a bit of a different colour. So I usually wouldn't do that because it's sort of going against the theme of the room that I'm designing. So you want to try stick to a theme, stick to a colour theme of that room. But again, I've got a bunch of different other stuff there. But we're okay with that. But we want to put some doors in there. So let's go back to our door tool. We'll get the doors right there. We're going to make these ones brown just because why not? And we'll select those there. So right there, nice and easy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain. So let's go back to that bedding. So bedding, as you saw, that this bed, it's a little bit messed up. Now again, some of the tools like the carpet and stuff like that, you will see like that. So what you want to do is double click on here, and it's going to bring up this menu. Now this seems very, very overwhelming to begin with, and that's okay. It doesn't matter, it's a little overwhelming. But we're going to bring this up because we've already got the bedding one selected, so we don't need to see that right now. We're going to drag this up here, and we're going to go find the bed that was the issue. So when we select here, these items below here sort of highlight. Now you've got this little brush tool here. You can clear these, and then they're cleared off. And now we're going to want to navigate ourselves back to the bedding. So bedding's right there, and as you can see, it's all the same bits, but sort of all split up and sort of changed apart. Now, what you always want to do in this editor is you want to start from this top corner here. You always want to build out from there based on the direction. So let's say I'm going to do this bed. I'm going to want to grab this corner here. So for actually right now, what we're going to do, we're going to grab that corner. We're going to place that there. So they're your corner tiles. So you want to pay attention where these corners are going. And we're building out from that top section there. And that bed's now fixed. And then we're going to do the same for this one over here. So we're going to grab that corner. We're always starting off from this point, and we're building out from there. So we'll grab that one, building out from there. And there you go. Now that bed is fixed. Now when I place that bed down, so we're going to click OK. Now when we go back to the bed, nothing's wrong with it. It's perfectly working. So when we select that and we go back to our furniture, it's a good looking bed. But again, so when you see sort of the older maps and you see that some of the tiles are a bit swipped and swapped, that's just the fact that the editor's changed the way that it sort of recognises tiles. So people just have to go back and re-edit them. And so sometimes even we make the mistakes. Like sometimes we've changed these and we didn't click save or something. You know, mistakes do happen. But again, that's how you fix it when it comes to that. And it's the same for when you're building tiles. So if you let's say, so at the bottom here, you've noticed I've got all these all these different sort of ones made up. So these are where I've got the tile packs and I've sort of put them on their own area. So if you wanted to make a new area, so we'll bring this down here. So we'll grab that. So what you want it to do is you have this plus section here. You could change it whatever you want. You could just something that you're going to identify. So we're going to do new set. And as you can see, it's blank. There's nothing here. So you want to select this plus, and then you can start building from here. So let's go to some of Dylan's tiles. So I've got some on here that aren't even in Dylan's tiles. But if we wanted to build this, again, you just do it from that back corner. Just from that back corner there. And then you can have those tiles. If you make a mistake, you can select them away. But that's how you build those tiles, because otherwise they will only show up in the tiles, which we'll get to what I use tiles for. But realistically, the reason you want to put them here, so again, we don't need that right now, so we're going to delete that. All you have to do is select the little trash bin, and we're going to click OK. So you're wanting, realistically, you want to do as much as you can in ISO, because let's say we made this bed in the tiles mode. So let's go do that. We'll go to the tiles mode. We'll go to the bedding. So we've got bedrooms. So these are from Daddy Durkee's tiles, if I remember correctly. But let's say we make this bed like this way. So let's say we do that. Obviously, I'm not selecting the correct floor right now, but that's okay. We don't need to select it correctly right now. But let's say I did that. I've just placed that down and then that. If when I came into the game, let's say I was in game and I wanted to destroy something, that wouldn't. So when I destroyed that bed in game, it would destroy the whole bed as one object. So let me just get rid of that. So it will destroy that whole bed. As you can see in this mode, the bed is one object. But when I'm in tiles, I've actually placed it down as two objects. So you'll probably see it in some maps. And again, this is only being a stickler. A lot of people don't do this as well. But let's say, quite often you'll come across like bookshelves and stuff where you destroy one half and the other half, and they're not one whole thing. So if you want to be a stickler and want to make sure that you're doing everything exactly right, you want to do as very little as you want in tiles, because when you come in game, it's going to look a little bit different, a little bit weird. So we're going to Control Z just to get rid of those. So again, the normal common functions do work as well. So Control Z. And so this would have saved me a lot of time when I first started as well. So let's say we go up to this tool here, we select that, we're going to drag that along. You can hold Control and it will actually copy those items selected. And you just hold Control and it will copy the item selected. So if you're doing rooms that are generic and they're all repeats of the same thing, you can just, again, on this little tool up here, this little square thing, you just click, hold, and then drag. And then you've selected those items, Control C, not Control C, just Control and drag. And then you've actually copied that, and then Control V just to get rid of it because we don't need it right now. So again, that would have saved me a lot of time. I've been slowly making a cruise ship with a lot of very similar rooms that are copy and paste, and I did them all by hand. And then thankfully, Commander from the that made the West Point expansion pointed out that there is actually a copy and paste function, which would have saved me so much time. But that is a very useful tool. So if you're making hotels, a cruise ship, if you are making a cruise ship, I guess, or again, you're just making generic rooms and you're not too bothered about them looking very samey and copy paste. So there is a copy and paste function if you need it. Now for rooms and stuff like that, there might be a copy and paste function. I'm not aware of it. If there is, let me know in the comments, any of you fabulous map makers out there. But there is a copy and paste function that can save a lot of time if you really need to. So now I'm going to explain what I use tiles for. Now tiles, I do this for detailing, and I try to use that as little as possible. So let's say, and again, you've got these layers, so these layers are very important on what you're using them for. So like the flooring and stuff like that, you can use the other tools for the flooring. Well, let's say I'm doing an outside decking for this. So let's go to, so we're going to go down here. So you've got furniture. So you can select it this way, which can make it easy. So it's got the presets, or you've got the exact tiles as well, and you've got a search bar. The search bar is the easiest thing. So let's say we want to do floor. So we've got now a bunch of stuff that's to do with the floor. So let's select some. We're wanting to find a wood. So let's say tile, a little too much for it. Oh no, okay, they were tiles and wood. So right there, so again we've got a little bit of a theme going on here. So again, you can select through these and sort of match up the colour See, so that's a good colour for me. But I wanted to go the other way because we're doing the outside decking. So let's say we do a little bit of an outside decking here. I use this for my detailing. So, and then let's say we want some railings as well. So, railings, we can just type that in, fixtures, railings, comes up right up there. And again, I use this for detailing. So, when we're doing railings, you're wanting them to act as if they're a wall. So, again, you can select walls 1, but you're going to notice that if I go to certain areas like here, oh, it deletes the wall. That's going to be a problem. You do have a walls 2. That you can just slap it on there instead. And again, control and scroll, you can zoom in. You do also have you can also do that here as well, control and zoom. You do have the little functions down here, but sometimes it's just a little easier to use that way. So we're on walls 2, and we can click there and select there, and then keep it on the same thing. Boom, boom, boom. And again, I only use tiles for detailing. If I can do the detail another way, I typically will. But sometimes it's not really an option. So right here, I'm going to want to do some posts. If I did that post in 2, it's going to work there. But if I try doing it here, it's going to get rid of that one. It's going to get rid of that one. So typically, I try keep them separate in some way. So right here, the post I'm putting on 1. Nice and easy. So these edge ones, I do want these to be a little different. I want these to be the long poles because I'm going to add a nice little roof above it. So we've got these long poles for our outside decking, but it seems like there's a bit of hover in there, which is kind of nice. It kind of looks like the decking is above that. So what we can do here, we can actually use the grime to our benefit. So let's type in grime, and we've got our floor grime here. So we can use different kinds of grime. So you've got these little grimes like that. So again, we're going to want to go to floor grime. We've got floor grime 2 as well, if you wanted to overlay that. But it sort of adds that sort of dirt layer to it. So that gives it, and that can give it the illusion of being higher up. Now, I don't like the colour of that one, so we're not going to go for that one right there. Maybe this one. Let's see if we can see that too well. You will be able to probably see that better in game, but for right now, just for visual aesthetics, we're going to go for the thick, dark one. Now, this can give the illusion that it is raised up. Now, again, you've got all these corner panels as well, so you can go over here, get these corners, and select those like that. And again, it gives it that illusion that maybe there's a bit of a shadow under it. There's a bit of a height to that decking, so it's not just on the floor. And again, some tile packs will give you the ability to add like sort of like a skirting board and stuff like that. I don't think that's base game. I might be wrong. But again, now we're going to want to go up, and we're going to want to do a little bit of a roof here. So again, what we want to do, because we don't want rain to come through this roof, we're going to go back to ISO. We're going to, again, make sure that you've got flat top selected, and then we're going to select that. So that's now acting as if it's a roof. So rain won't come through that. So when you're on this decking, you won't see rain coming through, but when you're out here, you will see the rain. One thing I am going to quickly just change on that railing, because it doesn't look too right to me, is I'm going to go back down a floor. We're going to go back to the walls, and we're going to change that because I didn't really like the look of that. It looks a bit better like that. Now, with the way that I'm going to do this roof, I'm going to do it nice and simple. We're going to go to floor. We're going to add another floor. And we're going to go to wood tiles again, and then we're going to select that. And then we can just overlay that on top of that. Now again, that doesn't look too right. What can we do to this to make it look better? Now we can add a trim. So we can go over here and we can find a trim. Oh, well, we need to type in wall. So we're going to, wall detailing is what we're looking for. So walls detailing, it gives you a bunch of these. So as you can see, they all look like they're on the same level, but you've got the ones down here and you've got the ones up here. So the ones up here will actually be on top of that wall. So we want to make sure we're on this layer down here. And we want to make sure that we're not on walls 2. Walls trim 2 is the one that we're going to be wanting. And we're going to want to select a colour that looks best for that trim. Now, again, I probably wouldn't do this with this building because it might not look the best. Like if we go back up, you know, it's got a bit of a gap there and stuff like that. But there are ways to get around that. There are ways to make it look better. But for right now, we're gonna stick with our little decking that we've got there. It doesn't look the best, I know, but again, a little bit of a decking, a little bit of a thing. And again, if you don't necessarily want that bit above it, you can go back to your floors, and then you can hold Control, and then you can drag. You want to hold Control, hold left click, and then that'll get rid of it. So, and then you can drop down, and then you can do the same anyway. Or if you hold control, so let's say we're on a blank tile. If you hold control, you'll notice that the tile changes. It gets rid of whatever object, and it will change the color, and then that will get rid of the thing you're working on. But for right now, we're going to leave that like that. We're going to go back to our railings. We're going to go to these tools, and we're going to drop these down because we don't need that top roof. So we're going to go to walls, railings. We're going to drop these down. It's just a nice little decking now. There you go. And then again, go back to ISO. So the ISO is nice and easy. Once you hover over this, you're going to see it select. You just right click, takes it all away, and that's fine. Now I'm going to show you the other thing that I use the tiles mode for, and that is making the roofs. I'm very particular on how I make my roofs, so I always do them in tiles. Now there is another way of doing roofs. So as you can see on this, we've got a bunch of different things. You've got slopes, peaks, verticals. If you select that tool, you can build walls that way. Not walls, you can build roofs that way. So you got your slopes, your diagonal peaks, and you can sort of use that to make use. Now I personally don't do that because, again, I notice, I pay very close attention to the roofs when I'm in the actual game itself. So I always want to make sure that I'm building my roofs by hand. Another little thing that I've noticed is I could add a little railing on this bit in here as well, so we can just, again, because I like my little details, just do it like that. Go back over it, go over to the walls, and there you go. Now you've got a nice little staircase with a railing around it. And because I've selected the walls layer, that actually is fine now. So when somebody tries to walk over that, it's not just going to let them walk into it, which is good. We don't want them just walking through things. So, and then we can go over here. So again, when you're doing your roofs, the roof panels are always at the top. So you can go up to your roofs and select them. So right here, we're going to go to roof. So when you get to your roof panels, you've got a bunch of different options. You got a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different things that you can do. So we're going to do a nice little brown roof. So as you notice, you've got your layers here. So these layers are what you're meant to stack them as. So that's your lowest layer. That's the layer above that. And that's the layer above that. Now you want to stick to that as the way that you do the roofs, otherwise it is going to look off. And if you want to go higher, you're going to want to up the floor that you're on, and then you want to start again back at the bottom, building that up from there. And you want to make, and again, once they connect, you know you're in the right spot, as long as they look like they're connecting and you got that right spot there. And again, that makes the roofs look the best. So we'll drop down here. We're going to go back here, and it's good. You can just click, drag. You find where it connects, click and drag. And then right here, you can find where it connects, click and drag. Nice and simple. Now, again, the vertical on the other side, well, there's no vertical on the side, but you're never going to see that when you're in Project Zomboid. It is an isometric game, so you don't need to worry about how this end looks. But what you can do to make it look better, so I am very particular with how I do this. Some people will just do it on this layer because they're like, oh well, that looks about right. It looks like they're on the same layer, but it does look off when it's in game. So I'm very particular that at this point you'd go up a layer, you drag that across, and then you've got that finished roof feel. A lot of people will just do it on the lower layer and be like, oh, it looks okay, it's fine, don't worry about it. But if you've ever done these slants and then you're about to do a flat top, just go up one extra layer and then just do it that way. It takes a few extra seconds, but it looks a whole lot better in the game. So we'll do it over here. We'll do it. So we're going to need an extra floor. So we're going to plus another floor for this. We're going to drop back down to the third floor. Go back to tiles, and let's do the roof here. So this is a much bigger roof, so we're gonna have a much bigger flat point. So we can do this like that. Now again, some people to just make it easier on themselves, they'll just do this, and they'll drag, and they'll just do that. Because it looks okay to them. Again, I've got restricted on the side, but that looks okay. It does look, oh yeah, I mean that looks pretty much the same as that. But these two are on the same layer. They are on the same layer, and it doesn't look right. So let's say it snows in the game, or the shadows are falling in a certain way. That won't look good when it's in the game. So again, always just go up one extra layer, and then just do it that way. and then you've got a nice little well-layered roof, and it looks a lot better than it would otherwise. Now again, we've got these gaps on the side, so what we're going to do to cover those gaps up, so you've got these walls for exterior roofs, so you can find specifically which one matches this wall here. So right there, we've got this one. Now again, very similar to how these are done, they build up in their layers. So we're going to select that one, select that one, select that one. Now again, these only do the slant. You'll have to go back and do the walls yourself, but I'll show you how to do that. Build that one, build that one, and they cover multiple angles, so again, based on which area your roof's in is fine. And again, right below here, we're going to just cover that, and we've got this gap now, but that gap will go away, you will see, don't you worry about that little gap. So you want to take that there, take that there, and take that there, and now we're slow. Now we've got a little bit of a gap there, so you're going to go back to your ISO, you're going to go back to your wall, and again, this is a good way of making sure that it does match the walls below. We can already tell that it does, but sometimes you're a little bit unsure. Oh, is this brick the same color as that brick? It seems a little off when I'm on this layer. It's a good way to just double check which one you're on. So we'll go back to our wall tools, exterior wall. We're going to make sure that our wall is still selected there. Drop down back to that layer. They match up nice and cleanly. Now again, you can slightly see that something's a little bit different, but that's just the way that the editor does. It's fine. And then when we go back up, it's still slightly noticeable, but that's okay. That is okay. Most people aren't really going to notice that when they're in the game. And again, sometimes you'll be sat there for ages. Oh, it's just slightly off color. Sometimes you just have to deal with what you've got. And now we've got ourselves a little bit of a farmhouse. It's not the best farmhouse on earth, I'll admit that, but it is a farmhouse. And again, you can always add extra details. So the roofs, again, I am very particular with how I do the roofs. So we've done everything on roof layer 1. We can go to the roof layer 2, and we can do grime. So we can add grime to the roof to add that little bit extra touch of detail. So let's say, so again, we want to make sure, because again, if we go to the grime down here, it's on a lower level, so these are leveled, so that's the top level. If I put something on the floor and I put something on the roof will be on top of that. So again, it is layered. So I want to make sure that this isn't on the same layer, because it'll get rid of that tile. I want it to be on the layer above, so it overshadows that. So we're going to do the grime there and the grime there, but we don't want to just now do the grime here, because that's going to get rid of that corner. We're going to go on the one above it, and we're going to do that. Now, if I did that on the same level, we'll do it on the other side. If I did it on the same level, it just get rid of these corners, and you have these weird little corners. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're on the layer above that when you do the grime. And there you go. Now you've got a little bit of a grime on the roof. Now, again, I've got other tile packs, so I can add other stuff, like I can maybe do maybe a few leaves found the way up here. You know, they're just sort of scattered on the roof a little bit. They're just sort of sprinkled around. You know, you can add as much detail as you want realistically. And again, I would recommend Daddy Durkee's tiles. They are phenomenal for the little bit of details. Me and Dylan were going to add like little bird poop tiles just to sort of like sprinkle on here and there. It's not something that ended up looking too well. I can even show you those actually. Just because, let's see, bird. Actually, I'll just go to my furniture because it'll be a little bit easier. Oh, I don't think I saved it actually. Bird poop, oh, it's right there. So again, we were going to add like these tiles that added like little bits of bird poo, but when you get close to it and you add like a bunch and stuff, it just didn't end up looking too right. But again, the more details that you can have, the better. Now, again, we've got a little bit, you know, a little bit of a thing going on here. We've explained what most things do. Now, I want to make sure that I have covered everything. So we've gone through the rooms, we've gone through the fact that you can edit those rooms, you've gone through the fact that we can copy them, but I'm trying to cover pretty much everything and how I'd go through the process of making a building. It might not be the correct way, I might have done some things wrong, but this will at very least get you a building that functions, and functions are well enough to be used in a thing. Like me and my brother, we made Blackwood, we made Grapeseed, we've made Pit Stop, all you know, highly acclaimed maps. People know them, people use them. A good example of the buildings I've made are in Blackwood. There are some community buildings thrown in there, but majority of the buildings in Blackwood were done by me, so they're a good example of what I've done and how I've done it. So gives sort of people a really good sort of examples. Again, I'm not sure if I've missed certain things. I'm sure I have. Again, and there's always more detail that you can add. Like even these windows. Let's go back to the grime. Because I always do. I grime up buildings like high hell. I can't help myself. But you've got all these different levels of grime, so you can add. So we want to do wall grime. So you can add these little bit extra grimes to walls and windows. And I always go heavy on grime. Grime adds a lot of detail in game, but sometimes you don't have to worry about it because the game will natively add grime to stuff anyway. So it's not necessarily something you need to do, but it just adds that the little extra touches. It adds that little extra detail. It gives it a bit more depth than just a normal generic, just everyday building. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything. If not, I'll edit it back in. And again, I might make a part 2 if there's some areas that I haven't covered. But hopefully this is enough to where you can go in and make a well-designed building. Again, all the stuff that I've talked about, all how to get the tiles and stuff, all are linked on my Discord. So if you, again, you might already be watching this on my Discord, but we've got a building tools section. You just scroll up, everything's on there. You've got Ringo's guide on how to use the whole editors and stuff, but this is just a guide into the building editor, which is where I personally spend most of my time. I make buildings. Dylan uses them for making the maps and that. But again, if you've got any questions, ask them in the comments. If I know the answers, I will reply. But I hope this has been useful. I hope this has covered pretty much everything that's needed to cover. If there are gaps, and there's significant gaps, and there's some stuff that I really have missed, I'll make a part 2 because I do want to keep this up to date to where people can really use it. But thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you're able, and come join us on Discord if you want to have a chat. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all again next time.